Growing up, people would tell me that my siblings aren't really my siblings, and I never knew which way to take that because there's multiple reasons. As a kid, I always wanted a younger sibling. I'm the youngest of my siblings. 43, 41, 39, and me, 21. I think I maybe just wanted to fit in a bit more. I have a different dad. They all have the same dad. But then it's also a thing of they're obviously all 20 years older than me. I think they try their hardest to not make me feel different, but by doing that, it makes me feel more different and more alone. You are an only child, but you are also the youngest child. I don't have the same memories, the same upbringing, and I'm not in the same childhood photographs. I often feel like I've missed out on a universal experience of what being a sibling is. So, you ready?
Nope. Oh. That is a really bright light.
Is it?
Really bright. I feel like I'm getting interrogated. You know, in the police where they're like that with a torch in films.
You basically all get interrogated.
This doesn't help.
I was brought up in a village and everyone is in a nuclear family. From primary school, I had children telling me that my siblings aren't really my siblings if they're that much older than me. They're my aunt, my uncle. I've also found myself having to explain constantly and tell everyone my life story in a simple question of, do you have siblings? I can't answer the question because it doesn't fit society's standards of a sibling. And I wish I could just say, yes, I do have siblings, and it'd be the end of it, but it's not. Because I fear judgment. And it's not even because my family's done anything wrong. It's just because it doesn't fit society's normality. Sladdbarn had a term in English. I think that would make me feel more accepted into society, but also within my family. I wouldn't have to explain all the decisions that led up to me being born and my whole family past. I can just say, oh, I'm a Sladdbarn.
How do you feel about the term Sladdbarn? Do you think it's a good thing or a negative thing?
I don't really think I have any thoughts on it. I don't think there needs to be a name for a half sibling or age gap or anything like that. I don't think it's needed or wanted.
They dismiss their feelings of me not being their sibling to themselves because they don't see it as a worthy matter, because in their head it's full blood. The age doesn't come into the equation.
People sometimes have said to me, and I'm sure they've probably said it to you, that we're not real siblings. How does that sit with you?
Oh no, I would be saying absolutely not. It does not sit well at all, because we are.
It's very easy to say, I'm not different, I'm the same sibling, got the same parent, but I think it's harder to admit that it's a completely different relationship dynamic.
No, I don't think it matters. I think age is age, isn't it? Like the time, like 20 years is the same whether you're full or half, and I don't like that, the word half sibling anyway.
I wish I was able to relate to them more. I was brought up with different toys, different media. Media is especially important, how you shape your perception and identity with the world around you.
Because we've got two brothers. I was closer to them when I was younger because they were your entertainment. You know, you played out with them. There was no computer, so you'd play board games. You know, we were very, very, very close. And we've got a very close age gap as well. So with that then comes fighting and arguing. So quite chaotic at times, but also really, really lovely.
I don't know them as kids, and they've known me my entire life. So while they have an understanding of who I am, I don't have the full picture of who they are. And that's going to define my relationship with them differently to maybe how they would see me. I think there does need to be more representation of Sladdbarn children.
Well, hello, number 5.
When you see it in TV shows, it's because the plot is running dry. Like they get back to season 10 and they have another child. And it's a humorous thing, right? But that person's never taken seriously because the show runs out. You don't never see the Sladdbarn child age. They are the comedic relief. The family dynamic already existed. They're just an extension onto it, and people know that they're not really an essential thing.
It's 2 love bugs.
Aww.
2 love bugs. Three's a crowd.
When I talk to people and they say about, you know, your brothers and sisters, and I say about the ages, and I said, oh, my little sister's 20 years younger, they're like, what? Like, I'm old enough to be your mum.
I don't think it is some humorous thing. And when you can visibly see that they look like my aunt, my uncle, my mum, my dad, people are open to criticise it without me ever inviting that form of criticism.
Would you say that your relationship with your nephew is different to me, even though we're only a year apart?
That is a really hard question. I don't know. You know, it would have been really quite easy for us not to be as close as we are. It could have been very, very easy, you know, but we chose not to because we want to have a close sibling relationship.
To be told by one person that you are siblings and by another that you're not, and not knowing if it's because of one reason or another, I feel like I have to defend the fact that I was born to people. If Sladdbarn had a term in English, I think it would be more palatable and stop criticising it as heavily. Sladdbarn children can definitely relate to each other because it is an isolated feeling, because you are told by society and by your family that it doesn't matter. But it's easy for everyone to say it doesn't matter when they're not the one grunting the feeling of being an outsider. That when you meet another Sladdbarn child, you feel a breath of fresh air, that you don't have to explain your relationship.
Hi, Libby.
When people say it doesn't matter, it takes away my representation. The fact that the closest word is a Swedish word. Like, it's a Swedish word for a Mancunian girl. Like, how do you explain that? Like, I sound pretentious. If I was to give Sladdbarn a term in English, it would be tangential. Along the same tangent, just at different points in life. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just a different thing and a different way of looking at it.